This video is going to be about installing a Valvomax drain system onto your oil pan in your car. It's not going to give you all the details of an oil change. You can find that everywhere else on the internet. The way you could probably do it with just a wrench and do it by feel, tightening this onto your oil pan, replacing the oil plug. I am going to use a socket. This is a 24 millimeter socket and a torque wrench. I contacted them and they said that the maximum you should torque this thing is 18 pounds. So I'm going to probably put 17 pounds on it. I always start out, I've warmed up the engine about 5 minutes. I'm taking this off so I get airflow when I change the oil. I'm going to be taking off that. I've leveled the engine. You don't necessarily have to. It's up to you. It's your preference. That's the drain plug right there. I'm going to be taking that out and replacing it with the Valvomax. So I have loosened this. On my Toyota, it's a 14 millimeter socket. So I've loosened it. We're going to take this out and drain the oil out. I'm going to be taking this cap off temporarily and the connector just to give free access to this nut for that 24 millimeter socket to grab onto. So there it is after I've taken off the cap and that what I just told you I was going to take off. Two things. The shallow socket will not work because it won't fit over everything. And the other thing is you have to take off the O-ring that's on this item in order to get the either 24 millimeter deep well is what you're going to have to use now. Temporarily take this off. The other size, the conversion to American measurements is a 15/16 deep well socket in order to be able to get over that to be able to torque it correctly. This comes with a crush washer included. Don't forget to put that on. They're important to keep the oil in the pan. Okay, so this is it. I've put it in. I would suggest that you're very gentle. Don't try to put it in initially with the socket. Make sure you feel your way in real gently without cross-threading, because it took me a couple seconds to get it starting to thread real well. Just a side note on that. So I'm going to tighten it a bit with just a normal ratchet right there, just a little tight, and then I'm going to snug it up with the torque wrench. That's the next time you're going to see me. Alright, so now I got my torque wrench. I got mine set to 17, like I said. The Valvomax people told me 15 to 18 pounds. The torque spec for my car is 30. But like I said, Valvomax, the torque spec is 30. Valvomax says 15 to 18 pounds. So I'll go with what Valvomax says. All right, there it is installed. I'm going to put the O-ring on here real quick. Slide that down into its position. If you need something to get the O-ring off, you can go buy a small pick kit over at Harbor Freight for a couple dollars. They're very handy to have. Anyways, so there it is installed. And we're going to put this on there. Like that. Seated underneath the O-ring. Sorry. I'm going to get it seated underneath the O-ring like that. And then we're just going to tighten it on. And that's it. Like this. Get that seated real well. Like I said, that O-ring. And then we're just going to tighten it on like that. Tighten it down. Got easy oil changes from here on out for me, and I'm excited. This screws on to that part that I put on the drain hole that you saw me install, and you get really easy oil changes from it.